In this video, we're going to talk about how to create a workflow process that everybody in your shop can follow, and it relieves a ton of stress from an owner. And I'll show you. See those bins right there? It's by using bins just like that.
You play to win the game. Hello?
You will not win, cause I will not lose. Can't be touched.
What's up? Let's talk some workflow, and as well as talking workflow, we're going to talk a little bit of flowcharts, process, procedure, really writing this down, really putting your people in a position where they know what is expected, it's written down, and they can follow it. So one of the things that we do, and we spend a lot of time, we really spent a lot of time working on this to build it, and once we built it, it was in place. But we really look, so we have a big shop and really looked at our workflow and said we need to have, some essentially columns or cylinders or, areas that like we work in, and we need to be able to follow a certain path regardless of what happens in the shop. So what we ended up having to do was, when we were looking at our workflow, we ended up saying, what are the 4 channels that we can follow? So what happens is, you get your intake, you prepare the paperwork. We call our work distribution system the hopper system. For anybody who doesn't have an actual work distribution system, that's a whole other topic, but you need to create one. You need to create a system that says, here's how the work is handed out to the technician, and it needs to be a system that manages itself. But so we went from hopper system, the tech would take the repair order out of the hopper system, and then we said there's multiple options. And really we boiled it down to there's 4 options. One of them is, right, if it's a lube guy, we would never want a car sitting around that needed an oil change and a check engine light diagnostic. We want to do that oil change while the technician, the lube tech has time to actually do the oil change. So we would literally put this in our work distribution system, and it allows for this scenario where the lube tech can actually take this ticket, knowing that it's going to have to go to a higher skilled technician later on. So basically what would happen is this technician would take the ticket, they would perform the repairs that they could perform. It would go into what we have as a bin, which is the redistribute bin or redistribute pile. Once it goes into that, the service advisor then redistributes, right, back into the hopper system. And once it comes out of the redistribute pile, you might have to make new paperwork, you might have to do different things. So we put it and say it needs to come here. After we do that, it goes back into the hopper system. Technician takes it from the hopper system, and they might need, they might have done an inspection, so they did the inspections that needed to be performed, so that technician did the level 1 diagnostic. It goes into the needs sold pile. And these are not piles, these are actually bins where our service advisors can see that, hey, there's some tickets that need to be quoted, sold, that type of thing. Service advisor discusses with the tech that needs to be sold, build quote, sell job. It's going to come right back up here to the prepare paperwork and notes, distribute to the hopper, goes into the work distribution system. Now here's what happens. The technician pulls it back out of there, says I'm going to fix the car. In the process of fixing that car, and we've all been there, bolt breaks, parts are missing, wrong parts ordered. I know you guys have never had the wrong parts ordered by your service advisors. That's pretty funny in our world. Unfortunately, it happens all the time. But, so that's what this pile is. We actually call this the shit happens bin, or the shit happens pile. And it's literally listed as the shit happens pile. We actually also have a yellow communication sheet. So if a technician is going to put something in the shit happens pile, he actually has to fill out a yellow sheet. It's the only yellow sheet in the building. So when we see yellow sheets, we know something has gone wrong. And it's not a negative. No one's getting yelled at. Shit happens. No one's afraid to fill this out. They're actually like, I really need to fill this out to make sure we do this process well. Service advisor and tech discuss what needs to happen. Service advisor orders parts, calls customer, does whatever is needed to get us out of the shit happens pile. And all sorts of things can happen here, right? At that point, the ticket can stay with the tech. It can go to the completed pile. It can go to the redistribute pile. It can do multiple things. You need to figure that out. But this is all workflow. And then what happens is sometimes the technician takes the repair order out of our work distribution system, completes all the repairs, puts it in the completed pile. Service advisor calls the customer. Everyone's happy. So this is just a higher level way of actually thinking about your business, thinking about the things that happen day in, day out, hundreds of times a week, thousands of times a year, and really trying to streamline them, really trying to get all of your people on the exact same path every single day, all following the same set of rules and structure. And you can create all sorts of efficiency by actually thinking about the things that you do hundreds, if not thousands of times a year, putting a flow chart together. I'll make another video someday on how to do flow charts. There's a company or a website I use called Lucid Charts. Helps me with all of this. But think about this, guys. And if you want some help on this, reach out to me. I really like this stuff. I'd love to help you guys.